nobody can force me to show respect. That's like another thing.
Sure.
Because I have my reservations, but I'm not disrespecting. That should be your concern, as long as I'm not disrespecting, I'm not cursing, I'm not using some of those bad words. You should be okay.
Yeah, as I said, like I speak to non-Muslims, right? So they don't so when we are having that dialogue in that, there's no titles of respect that are used, which is fine and understandable. As you said, as long as they're not you're not using any disrespectful words.
Yeah, I don't have to.
Fantastic. Okay.
And I hope in the meanwhile, any information that could be, maybe strong will be taken as not my personal opinion, unless it is my personal opinion.
Sounds good.
But we will stick to the point. We'll try to stick to the more close to the point than, creating some unrelated stories like you left that little message, an audio message that, Quran has one literal meaning, and then there is something that your Maulana Mufti somebody else says.
Right.
I personally do not agree with this, because if the God could not, supposedly your God, created the whole universe, a smart being, who created a smart guy like you, could not pick up the right words, then probably he doesn't deserve to be a God. So we will stick to that, whatever it says, but, sometimes those words can have some explanations within the reasons.
Sounds good.
So yeah, let's start with that.
So I would say even before that, right? My point would be if you don't mind, so give me some background, your educational background, and also if a historical background, how did you came to this conclusion, or what happened in your journey? Because, as you may know, that what would happen is, let's say, if I have a contract with someone, right? And I want to, break that contract, I can open the contract and I can say, hey, you know what, let me find a loophole to break that contract. Or, from a cybersecurity world, there's a perfect software. Our job is to figure out how that software can be broken and what have you, and how do we protect and stuff like that, right? So when we are approaching that, we are using that mindset of finding holes. Okay. Now, so that's one approach. So what would happen is, if someone does not like someone or something, then they can go and find holes. That could be another approach, right? Another approach could be that, let's say you love someone and you really love that person, you wanted to be with them, and then you found out that they were cheating or they were lying on you or whatever. And then as a result of that, you say, look, I don't want to be with you. Okay. So you understand there's a different mindset that happens. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? So one is that you wanted to do something, and then you realize that there's falsehood, there's a lack of truth in that relationship, and I want exit. The other option is you want exit because of something else, right? So in a human relation, let's say, a guy likes another woman, and now he wants exit. Now he's going to find all the issues with the, original wife, that, okay, you have this issue, so that I don't feel bad leaving you. Does that make sense?
I'm just trying to think how it is correlated to our discussion.
Okay, good. So from a discussion, what can happen is, one option could be that someone, for whatever reason, let's say XYZ, realize that, look, Islam has so many restrictions. I cannot do this, I cannot do that, whatever, right? Now I want a way out, okay? But I don't want to feel bad. I want to find ways that, look, this thing that is preventing me from doing something is false.
All right, I can tell you my reasons is not based on this assumption. You can try another one.
Okay, so then the other alternative would be that, someone was truly convinced about Islam, and that somebody showed them that, look, what you're believing is really false. There's no need for you to believe that. Does that make sense? Is that what you're saying that you're?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So in that scenario, I would imagine that you probably went to figure out that the arguments that were made about Islam were false or not, right? So if you love Islam, if I love Islam, let's say, and you come to me, Zubair, I appreciate that you love Islam, you're committed to Islam, and you claim that you can give your life for Islam and so on and so forth, but I have certain things that will show you that Islam is false. If you come to me with that, the first thing I will do is I will analyze your rebuttal. I will analyze your doubts. I would analyze your challenges very critically, because you are now claiming something about that I love. Does that make sense? So are you saying that you had the situation in which you loved Islam and somebody came with some challenges and you actually spent time to dismantle those challenges and to research and analyze those challenges? Or are you saying that for some reason you got, sort of dissatisfied with Islam and then you started looking for challenges yourself? What's the story here?
It's not the love thing. I will say, whatever you are trying to say, love, that's like something, when you grow up in a particular religious family,
Mm-hmm.
and you are adult now, you follow your parents' religion, and you have seen your parents doing, you have been doing, so that's what it is. I don't call it love, I call it brainwashing. Okay, so that's the process I have been through, like most of us.
Okay.
And but I can tell you a little bit about my journey.
Please.
While I was trying to do my graduation, there was some, there was some English literature book. I don't even remember the name of the author. I think it was Bertrand Russell, probably some James Jeans, that names, that come to my mind. Something stuck to my mind. And that thing that, stuck to my mind was when the teacher said, while reading from it, that how come those laws of nature are suspended to convince you on those miracles?
Mm-hmm.
So I suddenly correlated. I said, listen, I mean, this God doesn't make sense. Prophet doesn't make sense. His miracles do not make sense. A virgin birth doesn't make any sense. A prayer doesn't make any sense. There is nothing that you could see. It's something. It's like a hidden belief. And then I kept that belief for many years. I said, it doesn't make any sense. It's even in a prayer, you repeat something in Arabic that you don't know the meaning of. And I mean, going up and down, bending, bowing, whatever. Anyway, this journey continued. A few years back, I started watching some YouTube videos. They were videos between Christian apologists and the scientists who do not believe God. I think you might have heard the Lawrence Krauss, Professor Richard Dawkins, and there are a few other people. That was until that was out of until that time, it was not versus Islam. It was Christian apologists versus the other group. And then I went into theory of evolution, and I realized that Islam says one thing. But I'm surprised some of those Muslims are now believing theory of evolution is true. That is the strange thing for me. I mean, I was surprised.
Yeah. So do you know why they're believing in that?
Yeah. So congratulations, coming to the real world.
No. So see, that's the thing, brother. Again, you have to understand. Have you looked at the nuances that are associated with the theory of evolution, or are you just taking a very high-level view? Okay, I don't think it's a fair statement to say that Muslims are believing into theory of evolution, because there's so many nuances. I don't think you have read a paper on evolution, have you?
I have not read personally because I'm not a microbiologist.
Yes.
But I have watched YouTube videos from those professors, those authorities. But I want to move forward on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a year ago, I mean, this whole thing created some interest. I said, I have been, been a Muslim all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least 20 years of my life. And, Islam is based on a few things. Uh, I mean, like Hadith, life of Muhammad, and then Quran. That's the source of all the information for Muslims, right?
Yeah.
And then I heard there are people who do not agree with some of those hadiths. Some others say, it's about the life of Muhammad. This is not right, not wrong. You see, you are trying to catch my computer now, huh?
No, I'm actually drawing on my computer. Just I'm gonna take some notes as we speak. So I'm just
Okay.
I'm
All right.
sharing my screen.
All right. So I thought the best idea could be that I go to Quran and see what's there in it, because I mean that's the only one text that every Muslim believes in it, no
Right.
matter what, to what sect you belong to. But they still say, everybody says, this is a preserved book and this is the word of God,
Right.
and it's some document that's valid, I don't know from when till the end of the word.
Right.
So I thought, I need to check this. But once I went into it, uh, honestly, it disappointed me.
Right.
And then I started going into those people, who know, but not from Islamic point of view. I will be honest with you,
Right.
because I mean a little bit, not too much. And then I realized these people are, uh, many people do taqiyya. That means they lie to save their religion. Sometimes they manipulate. So they do all sorts of things to, I will say, to save their religion. So that's where I am. Then I collected some information. I spoke to my friend, Wasim. Uh, he's an educated person, but I was surprised he doesn't know a single verse of Quran. And I'm like surprised that, they're all, in my opinion, all people, everybody who is a Muslim doesn't know even a meaning of one sentence from Quran. Is just a brainwashed
Do you want to
person.
rethink what you just said? Do you want to rethink and then say what you just said?
No, I'm okay with that.
So okay,
But
if
anyway,
all
so
Muslims,
I collected some information. So I thought the right thing, or maybe the best idea, is to stay focused on Quran, to
okay,
find out what's right and what's wrong.
yeah,
And to be honest, those right things did not convince me much. They're like, they're okay. But I see those wrong things are like, too much for me. And that enforced my decision of staying away from it. And somehow, after spending so much time, it has become one of my favorite topic. I like to discuss it with anybody, as
okay,
long as the other person doesn't go crazy. And the reason why I did not take your call, because I have a roommate.
yeah,
Sometimes I do discuss with him,
mhm,
but now I have stopped doing it because he becomes a little hyper.
right,
And there is no point, because listen, I'm not here, even in, during this discussion, I'm not trying to, prove anything to you. I'm
right,
not asking you to convert. I hope you don't want me to, unless there is something that makes sense to me. But I think he takes it too personal. So I thought it's better to avoid him. So, that's why he just left. I make sure his car is gone. So I thought, let me tell you, we are good to talk. Um, so so let's see. What do you have to say?
so you're in New York, right?
Yeah,
And
Long Island.
and your roommate is not doing social isolation?
What can I tell you? I will say the part of the problem is your Islamic virus, because many people think, the day that you have to go in grave is a written day. No matter you hang up. If he wants to save you, he will save you. You eat poison, you go do whatever you do, he will save you. I mean, that's nonsense. If I mean, these are the things that really, disturb me. People are going to the mosque, together, they're offering their prayer, they are still doing socialization. That's some kind of craziness.
Okay, got it. All right. So basically, okay. So right now, if I understand correctly, you don't, do you believe in God or?
Wow, that's a good question. You know what? Right now,
You
I
don't
don't
know?
know. Which God are you saying? Are you talking about the God of Islam,
No, right. Well,
Christianity,
right now,
some of
okay.
those many Hindus?
No, right now, I just said there being the
They're just
God.
the creator. You say
Yeah. Yes.
some power that
Creator.
might have
Yes.
created this world. I mean,
Yes.
this universe.
Yes.
I'm not sure about it, to be
Okay.
honest. Looks
Good.
like there is no creator. But if someday I see some concrete scientific evidence, I don't have a problem accepting.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest about it. So, what one thing you just said that's quite interesting. That you said if you see scientific evidence, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if I see some reasonable proof that it is, there is somebody that exists who, not only exists, but really wants me to offer prayer 5 times, reading strict from that 1400 old years book, certain Arabic words, bending 3-4 times, doing all those things, fasting, doing
No.
all those things. I mean,
Yeah.
I will do that, but to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Look, uh, faith. We believe. So first of all, like if you have to take Islam, you have to take the whole thing, right? So we believe that faith is a gift. I cannot give you faith. I don't have the power to give you faith. What I can do with you is I can help you see that there's no irrational concept or there's no irrational idea in Islam. Okay, I cannot convince you. What I can do is I can do two things. One is that first of all, I can say that it makes sense. There's nothing irrational about it. It is logical, and I can also debate and perhaps prove to you that the answers that Quran has
Mm.
are better than the answers that you have, right? So the stuff that's at an intellectual level, inshallah, we can deal with that. But in terms of you having faith or not, that is something I don't have the power or ability to do that. To give you an example, from our belief, we know that people who saw Jesus, peace be upon him, alayhi salam, doing miracles, not all of them believed in him. We know that people who saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing miracles did not believe in him. So, I don't have any miracles that I
So,
can show to you anyways.
so you think Muhammad has had miracles?
Yeah. But again, that's beyond the point. The point that I'm making right now,
No, but you
that
just said Muhammad doing miracles. Did
yes,
you mean Muhammad did miracle or Muhammad did not do miracles?
he did miracles, right? Every
Okay.
prophet
So
had
what
miracles.
if I show you from the Quran that Muhammad did not? You want to do it yourself? Do it Google. You will find many verses
Yes.
where the book says that
Brother,
if there were.
remember the reason I asked you this question in the beginning
Mhm.
about your motivation, right? That is very important because, the question that you asked me on WhatsApp,
Mm.
that showed me, and I don't want to judge you, I don't want to, draw any conclusion, but that question showed me that you may not have done your Googling, right? That's why that's why I asked that the story that I put in the beginning of the call, and that's okay. We have to be honest because it's perfectly fine that look, I felt tight, I felt restricted, and I wasn't happy with Islam, and I found a way out in New York. That's fine to say that, right? But
No,
because
I'm just listen. I'm an honest person. I told you my story,
yeah,
and at the end of the story is that I don't like Islam. If that's what you want to know, but
yeah,
it's
I get
not
it,
that that's the beginning of my journey away from Islam. I have been praying 5 times, but
right?
now I think I wasted so much of my time. This religion took
Oh,
so much from it. It screwed my family. I don't like this, to be honest, because
yeah.
I don't see any reason. Why is
Well, first
everybody
of all,
going crazy?
yeah, you don't have an alternative yet, right?
I don't care about why do I need alternative? Listen, it's my life. I was born one day, I grew up struggling, education, job, family, business, everything. I just try to be a good person in the society. And then one day, everybody has to die. That's it.
Okay,
That's the reality. What else?
that's fine.
I mean, I don't need an alternative. Why
So,
do
so,
I need?
so
Why do
here's
I
my
need a
question,
God?
right? Why do social distancing? Like one day we have to die anyways, right? So,
No, but
right now,
somebody has to use your head. Listen, once you know you can spread this virus and you should go and hug somebody has to be only stupid to do this. This is what we call social distancing. Don't you
yeah.
think it makes sense?
No, no, I mean, from my perspective, it makes sense because I have a different
No, but
meaning of
so
life.
so it does for me. I'm here in this room, in this apartment, this house for last 3 weeks.
No, I'm
But
curious. So let's say if somebody's
I'm
like,
away from. I'm not a Muslim, but I tell you, my friend, he is. That's why I told you in the afternoon, because what he does, he gets up like 12, 1 o'clock, and 1 or 2 o'clock, he takes his breakfast and goes away. That's why I said, oh, he's going to be here. But somehow today he changed his schedule.
yeah,
And they are typical Muslim. I
so I
mean,
have a question for
yeah.
you.
Okay, what is that question?
So, and just out of curiosity, like honest curiosity, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody's like 65 years old, right,
Mm-hmm.
and has, arthritis, they take like 10 pills a day,
Mm-hmm.
life is really miserable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each day it takes a big effort to get out of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Another day is harder, have to go through like 10 procedures or like, bypass this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Why should that person live? I'm just curious. Like,
Because life is beautiful. It's a once in a lifetime chance. No, who will say, I want to rather die to get 72 hours? I mean, that's nah.
okay, so
Listen,
there you go.
one
I asked you
one
an objective
minute.
question, right? I asked you an objective question. I don't know why did you
I
bring.
don't.
I'm asking you.
Okay, all right. So you can take out the later part. So we will stay to the objective answer, and I will say this life is beautiful, and if I'm in that place, I would love to live every minute, every second in
Even
this
if
world.
even if
Once
you're
I
in
die, I die. That's it.
even if you're in the hospital and you need like
That's all right.
external
Life is
assistance
still
to
beautiful.
get rid of your feces and whatnot, you find like living like that.
Well, life sometimes is challenging. That's how the life is.
Why go through that pain?
I told you life is beautiful.
The pain is beautiful,
Life is beautiful.
but if life is full of
Listen, it's a
pain,
trade-off.
no,
You have
if life
some.
is full of pain,
No, listen, it's not. Listen, there are some miseries in your life
mm-hmm,
versus beautiful life.
yeah,
And you are the person to decide which weighs more. If you're really at a point that you think these miseries are too much and it's better to, give up on your life, probably that's the best idea. That's why some people choose to, die. But as long as you think there is something that you, despite all these miseries, you still have to enjoy something. Once you look outside the window, you see people walking, you see some greenery, you see nice clouds, it's raining, it's sunshine. It gives you pleasure. You have family who are looking at you. You're okay. What can you say? I mean,
okay, great. Okay, so did you say anything? Did you lose anything because of Islam?
if I lose anything,
No, did you or you said like your Islam destroyed my family or something like that? Like,
I will say, little social distancing, I will say, because um, I don't like too religious people. I stay away from them. Um, and people who have religious inclination, I try to stay away from them too. Um, or some of those people that I think, who know how I think about Islam,
Okay.
you know,
Clear.
those kind of people. Yeah, you could say maybe it's just a little social distancing
Okay.
that has, a little gap. But I'm all right.
Okay. So I want you to kind of speak a bit about science, and then we'll go back to the topic of Quran. Okay. So you mentioned like if you see some sort of scientific evidence, I just want you to highlight something that, let's say if this is a box that contains everything that you know, right? Everything that you're sure about, right?
Mhm.
Imagine this box represents that. Do you think that this box is a subset of, so obviously, so everything that you know, do you think everything that you know is scientific or is science based? Is everything that you know is from science?
Well, I will say it's science, but a little bit of those, those feeling based. Like I don't know if how could science explain if I feel good looking at the plants, while
Good.
it's
Thank you. Yeah.
raining,
Yeah. So
those
I
kind of
think
feelings.
I would like you to do an experiment. Everything that you know, especially the most important things that you know, okay? Think about it, that are they based on science or are they based on something else?
I told you I cannot put a percentage to it, but
No,
they
but
are both ways.
what I'm saying is, this is, I mean, this is not if you start doing that experiment, you'll be surprised that how many things that you know today are not based on science when it comes to you as an individual level.
So
And
how it is related to our discussion?
Well, the reason it's related to our discussion is
Hmm.
because one of the pillars that you mentioned as a heavy thing in this whole discussion was science, right? Like even when I asked you about like, hey, you know what, do you believe in God? And you were honest that you don't know, but what came out of your mouth was, if I see some scientific evidence. So what I want you to think about is that, what is science? So first of all, by definition, science will not deal with the topic of is there a God or not. That's by definition.
Now
Because
listen, I think we are going in wrong direction. As I told you, there could be many discussions around this God concept. I don't want to go into this. I can tell you my path that I'm on to.
you sorry, what?
I mean, I can tell you what's my channel, how I'm going approaching Islam.
Okay.
I'm not going to the other religion because I know Islam a lot since my childhood, and this is the predominant religion that people around me. So it was easier for me. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you know what? You always talk against Islam, but not about the other religion." I mean, I cannot learn each and everything. I've learned few things about Islam because this was like a handy religion.
Okay,
So
clear.
here's my point of view. I mean, we can prove God maybe in an unscientific way. There could be some question that may not be answered. This is not going to take us anywhere, because at the end, what's going to happen, that even if for an argument's sake we say, you know what, maybe there is somebody we don't know of, but the bigger problem starts once we reach there, because then we have to decide which of those 6,000 gods is the true God. And then suddenly a Muslim comes and brings me a book and a prophet and his life and tells me, God wants to do, this is our God that is, different than the Christians' God, and then the other God, those 6,000 God, all those 5,999 God that do not agree with your God. You want me to take that God, and and then it comes the book, and then you have to follow this. What my point of view is, maybe you have that God, it's your claim, your book, I'm okay with that. I'm trying to hold this pillar. I'm trying to, you're trying to do the other way around. I'm trying to do it the opposite way.
Okay, clear.
You know your God. No, let me finish. You're bringing your God towards the religion. What I'm trying to do is, I say, listen, you are a Muslim. You know your God, not because your mama told you, but because you have a book that you claim God wrote. You say this person named Muhammad, who was God's special man, a messenger to whom this book was given. And then we have to follow him, and then we have to follow his life. So what I do is I say, listen, instead of going up from top to bottom, I say, let's go from bottom to top. You have a book that you claim your God said, and I'm saying that we need to read this book to judge your God. If a God cannot produce a perfect book, then he doesn't deserve to be a God, even though you may prove in your poetic or whatever kind of, a God that I think at some point where I will, exhaust all my, arguments. It's like not reaching anywhere, or maybe, oh, who made that? Who made this? Who made universe? Who made planet? Who made the
Clear,
sun?
clear, clear.
Blah blah blah. I mean,
Clear.
those
I understand
things.
you.
Yeah. I
There
mean,
was, there was a reason I was.
that's not even sensible argument in my opinion, because if you claim who made this earth, who made this sun, who made this, I will say I don't know.
Got
But you
it.
will say your God did, even though you never saw him doing it.
Got it.
So I go back. That's why I want to stay you to the book, and I want to judge your God from his book. That's the
Okay,
only
clear, clear,
book
clear.
he has
I
given.
get it. I get
Okay?
it. Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry, it went a little too far.
Yes.
I mean, a little too much
So
explanation.
you'll have to like, yeah, if I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to let you know that I already got what you're trying to say. And the reason I was going to science is because when you're judging Quran, you're going to bring this thing. So I was just helping you get that tool clarified, but that's fine. You don't want to do that. We'll go direct way and then we'll come to it when needed. Okay. So now you are saying that, you have some certain things that you have found in Quran that help you see that Quran is not from God, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now, so like I want you to first understand something. Like
Okay.
when it comes to the worldly affair, Quran was never considered, or it wasn't primarily considered a book that is going to teach you how you should do, healthcare, how you should do warfare, how you should do, all the physical things that we do. Okay, and that is something that, I'm not making it up. It was something that was understood at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. And now that's a very fundamental thing to understand, that what was the approach of the disciples to Quran and science. So let me tell you something about it. And this is very important because, and I'm saying this because I know the question that you've posted on WhatsApp. So did you know that at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, if Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would tell the companions that, look, this situation is coming up, we will do this thing, and the companions would ask him, is this your personal opinion or is this from God? Okay, now this is relating to physical matters, and he would say sometime that this is my personal opinion, and then they would say that why don't we do it this way or the other way. So that kind of shows you that approach, that it wasn't that, okay, everything has to be, taken verbatim. So when it comes to the religion, the most important thing about the religion is our relationship to God, our relationship among ourselves, the laws that God has defined for us to operate in. But when it comes to the worldly innovation, Islam was always about to innovate and to come up with ideas, to come up with medicine, to come up with even agriculture techniques. So it wasn't that, okay, if they have an agriculture technique, they wouldn't go and say, oh, should we do this agriculture technique or not? Rather, the Prophet told them that you are more well versed, or you are better versed in your dunya, in your world. So do that. So even if he would have something that would be just like, like an open thing, like, okay, here's an idea. So you could challenge that idea, you could come up with a better idea, and so on and so forth. And let me ask you a question. What I just said, were you aware of that?
Oh, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I do not agree with your opinion.
No,
It's
which opinion?
just, you're just trying to do taqiyya. You're just
Okay.
trying to save your religion.
So
You're just
you
trying to
actually
save the
accused me of
mistakes
that,
in
right?
Quran.
So you accused me
If
of
there
something.
was, huh?
You accused me of something.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Listen, you're trying to
prove it.
save your God. What else I can tell you?
Okay, prove
Listen,
it.
there are two things.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Word of God.
yeah.
A God that you think is somewhere out of this, world, out of galaxy. I don't know, somebody that can oversee everything. And then you are trying to put words in what Muhammad is saying. I don't know if you Quran and his saying they are like the same thing for you. That's fine. I personally believe a hadith and the Quran is the same thing because Muhammad said both of those things. So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I will say, if if we look at Quran and we find scientific errors, I cannot accept it. If such a superior God that you claim who created the whole universe is thinking like a man in like 1400 years ago, person, and yet you guys claim this book is such a revelation. It's for the rest of the life, for the rest of every time, and it tells you everything.
That
It fails to convince.
okay,
Doesn't
good.
make any sense.
Okay, brother. Like, see, Khalid. Okay, look. You have to be very honest. Are we saying that you use Quran to fly aeroplanes? Is somebody saying that?
But do you think I should expect nonsense from Quran?
No.
Is this
If
a
so, there's
book
look,
that
look, no,
contains
look.
nonsense?
So,
I'm
so
not asking, listen, I'm not asking Quran to provide me theory of evolution, theory of relativity, or the rocket science or blah, blah, blah.
right.
I'm not trying to find it. You have to stay to my point. You cannot bring unnecessary material into my discussion.
Okay.
Okay? I'm just saying whatever your Quran is stating is scientifically wrong.
Okay.
How come somebody who is, a creator of the universe from your point of view is such an intelligent being who has created intelligent people like you, who is doing everything, but he himself has the approach of a 1400 years ago man? How could this be possible? And still you claim this book is forever? It's a guidance? What kind
See,
of
okay,
guidance this book
you have to
provides?
pause at the question so I can answer you.
Okay, all right.
So,
So
so
I don't.
because
It's
you
my
asked a
sorry, my
question.
bad habit. I sometimes go a little,
Yes.
you know.
So here's what you're doing. You ask a question and then you throw in 10 emotional statements and then I can't respond to you.
Okay, all right. You don't have to respond to emotional statement. Maybe sometime I go a little,
Yeah. So, okay.
too far, but
Right.
we can stick to the point.
Okay. So you asked a question that the Quran has scientific errors. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's why I told you that the Quran is not a book that teaches you how to fly an aircraft. And there was a
All right.
reason for that. There was a reason for that. Because if you are writing something to communicate with the masses, you will use the language that is accepted by the masses. You won't be as precise as you would be in a postgraduate math or physics book. This is very important for us to understand. Okay, and that's why I said, like, if you had to, let's say, so right now our point of discussion is the verse that said that Dhul-Qarnayn found the sun to set in murky waters,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, paraphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, so let me write it down. You can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now one of the things that you need to understand, something very important, is that how do you understand that verse? So hang on, let me just clean this screen. Okay, and I can type here.
So let me ask you a question.
You already asked the question. We're gonna talk about that question now.
Okay. No, this question is not with this one. This is something that you said. That's an interesting point. You said this book was for a certain. Do you mean that this book was related to the 1400 years ago
I have a
time
question for
only,
you, Khalid.
and now it's like
Khalid,
done.
Khalid, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What time is sunset?
What?
What time is sunset?
There is no sunset, man.
There's no sunset?
There is no sunset.
Okay, if I go on Google and I type what time is sunset, what would I see?
That's the time when you cannot see the sun. The sun does not set anywhere.
Thank you. Is that how you talk to people? Is that how you talk to people around you? Do you say it's sunset is 7 o'clock, or do you say the time that you don't see the sun anymore is 7 o'clock?
Well, I fully agree with you. I know what you're trying to bring up. This is what I'm saying. That's my whole idea, that this book was written by a man like you and me, not by a God.
Really?
Because this is not a God's point of view. This is a common man's point of view living 1400 years.
Okay, that's one way of thinking about it.
What do you mean by that? I mean, that's the only, okay, I mean, you have a different point. I know you,
No,
you are a believer, so you will believe whatever they tell you.
Khalid, as I said in the beginning, the goal of this call is not for you to agree with my point of view.
Yeah, I agree.
The goal of this call is to show you that what Islam is not illogical. Okay? Now you are saying that if a smart man writes a book, it should be super precise. Okay? And that may be true. That may be true, okay? But what I am saying is if a wise man writes a book, he should look at the audience of that book and the purpose of that book, and not to brag about his scientific credentials.
All right, my reply is, once a professor writes a book, a microbiologist who has done multiple PhDs, he's not going to write down, a second grade book. He is going to give information based on what his intellect is. What his knowledge is.
Okay, let me ask
Many people may not know. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe you and I, we cannot understand. We need somebody to explain us. But,
okay. No. Khalid, just think about it. See, okay. Just imagine what you're saying, okay? So, let's take this professor's example. Okay? Now, this professor, okay, let's say, let's take a current example, Dr. Fauci. Okay. Now, Dr. Fauci comes on CNN. His main goal is to get the American people to do the social distancing and to wear the mask and to be this, that, right? Right now, I guarantee you that in the English that he uses on CNN, there's a lot of lack of preciseness, because the objective is to communicate to the general American audience. It's not to show his medical credentials. When he's talking with his colleagues, he's going to be super precise, right? He's not going to say, oh, Americans, I'm going to teach you the theory of virus. This is what a virus is, and this is how it spreads, and blah, 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 blah. You should not call it corona because it's not corona, it's COVID. What are you guys talking about? Well, okay, as soon as he does that, he would have lost us. So you have to understand this thing. That's why I was taking you back to the purpose of Quran and the audience of Quran. If you don't understand the purpose of Quran and audience of Quran, then your claim is right. So is this point clear that, look, God is not going to be 100% precise in it because we don't even know the truth today? Like, do you think the truth that we know today, like even today, we can't even understand it because, 10,000 years down the road, science would be totally different. So it's not a book of science. The question of Quran is not to be scientifically precise and accurate. It will be free of contradiction, and it's going to use common language. So I hope that point is clear for you.
I don't think so. I don't agree with you.
Huh?
I don't agree with you.
Okay, that's fine.
I still believe the writer of the book, as it claims, is a universal creator.
Do you understand what you're saying?
He should not make mistakes.
He's not making mistakes.
That's a mistake, man.
Okay, show me.
I showed you already. You have the book. Yeah, I showed you the verse. All right, let's go to the verse. Let me tell you.
No, the verse is right here.
All right. Okay, so read it. Read the first sentence.
Just give me 1 second. I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the words that's in the thing. وجدها تغرب في عين
All
حمئة.
right. Okay. All right. I don't know why you guys put it in the bracket, but it says until when he reached the setting place of the sun. That's the end of the story, to be honest. This is God saying this guy reached the setting place of the sun. That's it. That means this God thinks there is a place where the sun sets.
Okay.
And it continues the other story.
Please pause. Please pause. You are the precise guy. I'm going to treat you with scientific preciseness, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So God, you're saying that reach the place of setting of the sun. Is that what you said?
Setting place of the sun. Yeah,
Setting
that's
place
what it says.
Okay. Setting place of the sun. Now, the scholars or the people who understood Quran, they never thought that the sun actually went into the water. Nobody thought like that until you started using this precise lens. I mean, if you start using this precise lens in common language, you will not be able to go anywhere. I'm saying you can't even understand Dr. Fauci's claim. What's his name?
Now, Zubair, my point of view is, if your God was really a smart guy, an actual creator of the world, he could have used at least some better words rather than making mistakes. These mistakes.
How is that a mistake?
If you tell me, where is this place where the sun sets?
This is what I'm saying. It's understood in common language. This is how people
not talk. Understood, man. That's 1400. That's the typical thinking of a 1400 years old man.
You know, 2020. Brother, what are you talking about? Like, are you listening to me?
I am listening to you, but I'm not agreeing with
argument. Your argument is that God should communicate like a precise scientist writing for a scientific journal.
No, listen. There are two different things.
Yeah.
One is precise.
Okay.
And the one is mistaking.
Great, thank you.
I can show you some other mistake too.
Pause. Let's pause, okay? Now I'm going to show you something. Precise and mistake, okay? So let me tell you something. This is not a mistake. Why? Because if you go historically back, because it would be a mistake if people understood the wrong information from it. What I'm saying is you can go back in time, right? As far back you want to go. Nobody understood the way you are understanding it today. Nobody. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a lack of precision so that, you know, somebody like you can claim that way. It was never understood the way you are saying. Okay, it would be a mistake if everybody understood it the way that you are saying it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, that's not true.
Okay. Okay.
Listen, if somebody is saying, listen, you guys claim that this book is from God and this book is forever. You tell me, listen, if you tell me that this book was given by God and that was valid until 1400 years ago, right now this book is irrelevant. Just, we don't need to look at it.
What I said? Khalid, is that what I said?
What you are trying to say is that this book was written from the perspective of 1400 years ago, people living in Arabia.
I'm not saying
that's what you said.
I'm not saying that.
This was according to
their thinking. I'm not saying that.
Okay, so you did not say this one either. Okay, so what was that you saying?
Okay, good. So
why
please
this is, you know?
Please listen. Okay. I'm saying let's distinguish between precision and mistake.
Okay.
Okay, good. So if I say today that the time for sunset is 8 o'clock, is that a mistake or is that a lack of precision?
Well, it's a lack of precision.
Thank you. That's it. That was my point. Why is that a lack of precision?
Listen.
Let me ask you a question. Let's build on that. Why do you say it's a lack of precision and not a mistake?
Because this is like a common understanding. It's like everybody talks about this. That's it.
Thank you.
I can expect it from you, but I cannot expect it from a God. Especially when he says, when he reached the setting place of sun, why would a God say this? Please, I can get you something else more precise.
Okay.
That's another verse.
First
I
of
just
all,
need to check it where it is.
Hang on. See, we can't jump until we have closed this.
Okay. All right, no
Because
problem.
we're talking about principles. We're not talking about words. I want you to, this is just first layer. I've just uncovered the first layer with you, that what you are calling a mistake is a precision thing.
All right, no, Zubair, I don't agree with you. Listen.
Okay, that's fine.
You have to understand one thing. Your opinion, a common man's opinion, and a book that you claim from God, they're two different things. If you claim that somebody like you wrote this book, I'm okay with that. I would say, all right, I'm good.
Okay, let me ask you something. Can you translate this verse? Can you translate this verse?
Yeah, almost a little bit. I'm not fully.
Okay, go ahead. Try it.
All right. Okay. So let's say it's the word hatta. That's the end. Last point. Maghrib is is where the sun sets. Shams is like the sun. So Iza Balaga, something like until that point with the sun. This is like
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's easy,
Okay, do you see the word there? It says wajadaha.
That is the second one. I was on the first one.
No, this is all
until when he reached the setting place of the sun. Huh?
Hatta idha balagha maghrib ash-shams. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So wajadaha, right? What does wajadaha means? See, that's what I'm saying. The reason I'm saying is, look, right now I can't even go with you at the level because you don't even know
listen.
English language.
I don't have to be an Arabic expert to understand.
Of course you have to be. Khalid, look, just think, first of all, you're talking about communication here, okay?
No, listen, that's not fair. I think if everybody has to be an Arabic scholar to understand Quran, then I was right. The first thing I said that you guys are not brainwashed Muslim, because how many people know Arabic? 0.1%.
Okay, look.
So why they are accepting this thing? Just because their father and parents told them? That's my point anyway.
Those 10 emotional things in there, just like before. Let's
become. Okay, so let's keep going.
Let's be precise here. Okay, look. So what I'm saying is, right now you're not able to appreciate the preciseness of the message because you are looking at a translation of the sentence itself, first of all. Okay, so now the translator himself, the one who is translating, even if you look at the translation, they are also keeping in mind who is the audience of that. Is that going to be a PhD student? Is that going to be a layman English person? That's how their vocabulary is also going to be limited. So that's point
not important.
Oh, it's not? Okay, why don't you pick?
No, I said, listen, what I'm saying is your Quran has a word, and that word has to be translated as it says, because if you put like A to B, then why your God didn't use the more precise words?
He did, brother. You can't see it. What can I do? Can you see my screen?
I don't know what kind of I think.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Well, do you see the stuff that I have highlighted?
Yeah.
Okay. He found its setting.
Yeah.
So God is never saying that the sun actually set in the water. He's describing his experience.
What I'm saying is, who wrote this book? Is this a book from Zulkarnain or is it the God's book? It's like my son tells me something that he had some experience, but I know that, he saw the sun setting and he comes and tells me, and I'm going to put it in my book. No, I'm going to tell him, son, listen, this is your illusion and the sun does not set that's how it looks like, and I will show him the solar
Okay, let
system,
me
and I
ask
will
you,
tell him that's how it
what is
goes.
my response to this? Okay, you tell me. Let me see if you're understanding or not, because I am understanding what you're saying. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What am I saying?
Well, you said it's Zulkarnain's point of view.
No, no. What is my full
This is
argument?
how he
What is my
found it.
full argument? What is my full argument? Let me see if you can tell me. And I'm gonna write it down here as well, so as we speak. So can you explain to me my argument? I can explain to you your argument.
Well, listen, I have not been agreeing to your argument.
No, don't
Okay,
agree. Don't
I
agree.
don't know. I
Don't
cannot,
agree. Tell me my
read
argument.
it back exactly. But most of part, your argument is that this was written from that time's point of view,
I never
like
said that.
1400 years
I
ago,
never
that kind
used
of
the
a
word
thing.
time. I never used the word time.
No, but you said from that,
There's no point
uh,
in us talking if I'm not helping you see a better picture. I use the word audience. I didn't use the word time. I used the word audience.
audience of that time,
No,
not
I did not say
audience.
of that
Is
time.
this all right? So let me ask you that. All right, let me ask you: is this the audience of that time or the audience of this time? You tell me.
Everyone.
Now, sir, what do you think somebody's going to look at it when your God tells that until when he reached the setting place of the sun? People are going to laugh at
I
it.
challenge you. I challenge you that there is no one who read Quran and got that it's talking about the sun setting in water. Unless the person was saying, okay, let me find a way to disprove Quran. If you are reading Quran for information and for knowledge, you will never come back with this understanding. And I can give you tons of proof of that, okay? So I'm gonna write down my claims here and I can give you proof of any of that if you want. If not, we can go on the next point. So what I'm saying is,
Okay, no. What I'm saying is, like you said, to seek knowledge from Quran. I mean, reading all those things, I don't see there is any knowledge in Quran. I mean, somebody has to be only a brainwashed Muslim to say, there is everything in it, and I'm not going to look at the way it is saying. I'm going to find some ways out so that, I keep this book high. I'm sorry, I'm not a Muslim, so I cannot, think the way you think about your own book. If you want, you can look at me as somebody who is on a journey to prove your Quran wrong. I don't mind.
okay, so I'm actually making it precise for you.
It is.
Okay, so your first claim, if I understood correctly, is this. And you tell me, so right now I'm just going to talk about the claim, okay? We'll make the claim precise, then we'll make sure that you understand and respond. Then I'll share with you another claim that you made, and then we'll kind of wrap up the call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so your first claim that you made, which I understood, is that Quran has a scientific mistake.
Yeah.
Why? So I asked you why. You said because Quran says that sun sets in murky water. Is that claim correct?
It's I think it's you have to add up the initial sentence too when it says the when Quran tells the Zulkarnain reached at the place of sunset. So Quran thinks there is a place where in the word where the sun actually sets. So this it has like two parts: sun setting and setting in murky water.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Place of sunset, yeah.
Okay. Good. So basically my point is, here's my point, okay? Let me use my pen. So my claim is that Quran does not say this. Quran.
And you prove the Quran doesn't say this.
Sorry?
How can you say the Quran does not say this?
Great. Fantastic. Okay, good. So now my point, look, when we are going to read Quran, we will understand it in the way that the Arabs understood the Quran, right or wrong? How can you, okay, so here's my question. If I have to say something, does Quran say this or not? So for example, does Quran says that Jesus is the Son of God?
No.
Okay. Does Quran say that God is singular or plural?
Singular.
Okay, good. Now here's the thing. Quran uses the word we in Quran. If you literally translate, it says we. How would you understand God is singular? Because you have to use common sense, right? There are, that in Arabic, even in Urdu, हम कहते हैं ना कि हमारा ये फैसला है कि आप.
मैं वो यही कहने लगा था कि ये तो एक एक्सप्रेस करने का स्टाइल है.
Exactly. Thank you.
इसका मतलब एक से ज्यादा तो नहीं है.
Thank you.
It doesn't mean it.
Right, exactly. So basically, you will go with the principles of the Arabic language. You can ask the people who understand the Arabic language, and you can say that, is this an acceptable thing in Arabic that people use we for singular? And they will say, yes, it is. So likewise, what I'm saying.
हम भी करते हैं. Yeah. मैं कहा वो हम भी करते हैं.
Exactly, yeah, I'm saying, but I mean, imagine some English guy, right? He may or may not appreciate it, especially if he's not familiar with,
Yeah. For him, it's a little different thing.
Right, and to be honest, you can find some Christians, they will come up with this argument, hey, your Quran says we. So this shows a shallow level.
Oh no, because there are not.
Yeah, this just shows
this
a
is a language. Yeah.
Likewise, just like that, I'm saying that if you go back to any Arab or you look up the classical explanation, you look up anything, nobody understood this the way that you are claiming it.
No, that's not true.
Okay,
you're trying to compare the apple with watermelon. It's like number of sentences, and you want me to look at it and say what is not there.
Okay.
But listen, what we can do is we can move forward, because I think you are sticking to your point. I'm sticking to my point. No. Probably we'll be here all day and we will not agree with each other. I don't have to agree. It's just I wanted to bring up my point. Unless you are confident that you can convince me, then you first convince me and then move to another. It's up to you.
Okay. Khalid, all I'm asking, please listen carefully. I'm not asking to agree with me.
I just gave you an idea. I mean...
No, yeah, fine. All I'm asking is, imagine if Wasim calls you and says, what did Zubair say? I just want you to be honestly able to convey to him what I said. And right now, I don't think you're understanding my argument.
No, I think I can,
Okay, convey. So imagine Wasim calls you.
Basically, basically what you are saying is that, whatever is written is based on the audience, right?
No. Right now, look, have I written the word audience in this anywhere?
Oh, not anywhere, but initially you wrote audience.
Yeah. So that was, we talked about so many things. I was trying to help you understand. Okay, right now.
Okay, all right. So you want me to go through this and circle with the red? Okay, number one, you can check it in all tafsir. Hence, you cannot say Quran has a mistake. That can only done.
What I'm saying is nobody understood it this way. How can you, if you ask anybody, okay, ask anybody who understand Arabic language, and they said, can you take from this, or even English language, okay, are you taking from this that Zulkarnain reached a place where sun set? Nobody took that meaning. Because look, if for example, that's why I was giving you all this example of sunset and all that, and that's actually from Zakir Naik's video, and that kind of showed me that that was a very famous video, and you were not aware of that, so I was surprised about that. Okay, so basically, look, if I say to if
Yeah, go
look,
ahead.
okay, look, so for example, if I call my dad, okay, and I say, Dad, sunset is at 8 o'clock, okay, and if you ask my dad, then did Zubair mean that sun actually sets? He went to University of Toronto and he thinks that sun sets. My dad would say, no, he's talking in common language. I never understood it to mean that sun is boom setting. That's how people talk. Nobody, because you are saying that Quran says sun sets in murky water, and Zulkarnain reached that place where sun was setting. He was about to catch the sun and rip it apart. Nobody understood that way. So how can you say Quran says that when nobody even understood that way? So Quran
All
does not.
right, now, Zubair, listen. This is exactly what your Quran says. And it's my problem is that if a man would have written 1400 years ago, I will take it. The moment you say this was written by a man, that's his language, I'm okay with that. But when you say a creator who wrote it, who claims to be precise, exact, and who has been claiming so many of those scientific things, I will say then probably your God doesn't deserve to be a God. I can give you one thing. All right, let me show you something. I mean, have you gone through this hadith
No,
where
how are we? No, there's no point. Like, okay, I will leave it to the viewer, anybody who wants to view this argument, to decide that what is going on here. Okay, what I'm saying, look, I just gave you example that you agreed on. I gave you example of we, and you
no, but
understood.
listen, there are two different things.
Okay, okay,
An
I'm sorry.
example between you
I
and
have
me, your and my discussion is different, and
I will
something.
give you a screenshot of this, and I'll let you think about this, because I
I
don't
don't have
think.
to think about it. I understand it. I'm okay with that. Maybe we could move on to the second part of it.
Okay, sure. Let's see. What's the second part?
Second part is when the Zulkarnain creates a wall of steel between the two mountains. Do you
Okay.
see it at 995?
Yeah, clear.
Where is that wall of steel between two mountains on the planet Earth? There is no such place. So I will say it's just a fairy tale that's there.
Really?
All right, so
You're
show
saying
me.
there's no such place. Okay.
Tell me where it is. Why scientists have not been able to find that, wall of steel and, iron. And the other thing is, I mean, it
That
doesn't
is,
even make sense in
oh yeah,
its
of course.
own.
It doesn't make sense, right? Nothing makes sense. Like how can there be a virgin birth? All of that doesn't make sense, right? So that is a different thing. You know why it doesn't make sense? It doesn't make sense because of the science glasses that we are wearing.
No, because you guys are talking something that doesn't make sense. That's it. You guys are believer. Your prophet told you that, like that's how Islam started. Muhammad was standing at a hill, and he called people of Mecca,
Okay.
guys, आइए मेरे पास. मैं अगर आपसे कहूँ इस पहाड़ी की दूसरी तरफ दुश्मन है, आप मेरी बात मान जाएंगे? उन्होंने कहा जी आप सच्चे हैं, ईमानदार हैं, आप जो कहेंगे ठीक कहेंगे, तो फिर आप मान जाएं मेरा खुदा सच्चा है. इसका मतलब है कि आपने लोगों को इमोशनली ब्लैकमेल किया. आपने सिर्फ अपनी एक क्वालिटी पे खुदा को मनवाने की कोशिश की. There
Really,
is no
Khalid?
proof.
Khalid,
There is
pause,
nothing.
man. Pause. Have you seen coronavirus?
Yeah,
Oh, you saw it, huh?
yeah.
You saw it?
I have seen its picture under the microscope.
Okay, did you put your eyes in the microscope or the microscope?
putting the eyes in a microscope. Listen, we have pictures of it. Do you have picture of your God?
No. I'm okay with that. You are the one who is claiming this thing, right? So I'm just telling
No,
you.
listen, you brought up those things like miracles, virgin birth, and blah blah blah. And I have to bring this to tell you that you guys are believer. Believer means you have accepted those things as being stated in your book, not because you have seen or those things that actually make any sense. I mean, how could a virgin birth make sense? Uh, let's see, this prophet staying in, eaten by a big fish, stays there for 30 days. The global flood of Noah, and that thing, when uh, Musa put his stick into the Nile River and it split into two parts. I mean, there are miracles. You took them because your book says that's it.
Okay.
That's why I'm hitting
That's
your
fine.
book.
Let me see how smart you are, Khalid.
It's not about my smartness, listen.
Of
It's
course
not
it is.
about my smartness.
No.
No, it's just, listen, right now, it's about your God's smartness to prove that he is a God. He is not, so far he's
No.
not. But so let's go to that thing, So where is that wall of
Yeah. Okay.
steel?
Thank you. Thank you for coming back to the question after throwing your
Yeah.
20 sentences.
Sorry, this is my
No,
style. I'm sorry
brother,
if I
Khalid,
offended.
this is
Yeah.
not just, this is just showing you that where is this all stuff coming from. I hope that you can see it as clearly as I can see it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna just talk about this and leave the rest. Okay.
Okay.
So you said, why has science not found it?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, the science has gone in the water, checked everything, and you can add one more question.
Brother.
How could?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just related with this. It says a wall of steel between the two mountains. That means you need to have that kind of a melted steel. There would have been a huge steel mill creating all those, steel to put it there, and it should be there. And where it is, why, nobody has found it yet. When they know each and every Galapagos island, they can find your viruses, the minor things, each and everything. But why not?
Why don't you go and take a look at science? Okay. If you
Science about what?
remember what I said to you
Hmm.
initially when we started this call, we
Hmm.
started talking about science, and you said no, talk about Quran. And I told you that, bro, I know you're going to bring this science up because you think it's this huge, mighty thing that has figured out everything. So I would like.
Well, I'm bringing science because I think there are scientific mistakes in Quran. That's why
No, so far
this
you haven't
discussion
shown
is
me
about
anything.
Quran. Huh?
What do you mean scientific mistakes? What do you mean science? Do you understand the philosophy of science?
You tell me, what do I have to understand when I say your book claims that he made this wall of steel, where it is, and how could he build
Okay,
it
dude.
without a big steel mill?
No. Hang on a second. You are saying two different things, okay? I'm just going to take the first thing. I want you, look, you are talking about preciseness and all that thing, and with all due respect, Khalid, you're very shallow in your speech. Sorry to say this. So that's why I'm saying
Doesn't matter.
pause.
You can.
Just pause, okay? You said that Quran has a scientific mistake. Okay, why is there a mistake? Because it made a wall. Okay, so how is that a scientific mistake? Because science hasn't found it. Really? If science has not found something, is that a scientific mistake?
Well, it is, because it's such a big thing. Anybody could find it when they have found so many things in it.
Really? Okay, let
What
me
is
tell you
that they
something.
don't know about this universe? I mean, this planet Earth. What is that they don't know? They have gone each and every corner.
Yeah, thank you for asking me that question, right? What is it they don't know, right? Okay, let me tell you something. I'm going to leave you with these two things for you to think about, and we'll end the call at here, okay? I would like you to go back to your scientist friends with all the radar technology that they have, and just take a look at how long it takes them to find what happened to the missing Malaysian airline. Okay? Then I would also like you to think about it. Then when did your amazing scientist who knows everything, when did they find out about this COVID virus and how much it is that they know today? What I'm trying to help you understand that there is a lot that science does not know than what it knows. Okay? So you are saying that if science does not know about something, that cannot exist. Okay, now that's a point to think about. Okay, now I'm going to touch one more thing, and that is the concept that you bring in earlier, that you don't believe in miracles. Well, right now, like, how did you come in existence? How can it be that one man and one woman get together and a human being is born that has the ability to see, process, talk, learn, communicate, and all that sort of stuff? So that is why I originally had this question about what is your alternative to all this? Okay, because that's a very important thing. You don't even know the answer to this thing. Science does not even know the answer to this thing, and at least Islam has an answer for it. So I hope, so I'm gonna, if I were to summarize your claims for today, you are saying, because you always kept saying that science, Quran has a scientific mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, and that statement is not true, nor were you able to prove it on this call. I was able to show it to you that the contrary is true. Okay, now it's something for you to think about. If you can have a better proof at it, be more precise at it, I'm happy to understand. As a recap, Quran never said that sun sets into, from a precise perspective, sun sets into this water, or Zulkarnain reached the place where sun was setting. Everybody understood that this is the place where he saw the sun setting, not the place where sun. Nobody understood it like that. Everybody knows the sun is far behind. You cannot touch it. Okay? Nobody understood it that way. So this was not a mistake, because this is how people understand the book, unless they're trying to, go, I don't want to use the word. I'm just going to have to control my emotions as well. Okay? And second thing, you are saying that Quran is a scientific mistake. Why? Because Quran mentions about something that science has not seen. So what? That's why I told you earlier that science is not the only source of knowledge. If I ask you, brother, who is your mother? Who is your father? And you will point that, such and such lady is my mother, such and such person is my father, even though you have no scientific knowledge that those are your parents, you still believe in that they are your father and
All
mother.
right, okay, Zubair, listen. I mean, I don't know where you are going, but today I can prove who's my father, who's my mother. So this is not even, a point to talk.
It's not about can. Look. See, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying can or cannot. I'm saying that you believe that this person is your mother or father without scientific knowledge. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Do you understand the difference?
But if I have doubts, listen, I have doubts in your book. That's why I'm bringing forward. If I have a doubt in my parents, I will do my DNA. That's it. Because I just don't want to be a believer. And one last thing on this thing,
you
said, if they cannot find an aeroplane, there is a difference between a small aeroplane, going somewhere where they cannot find it, and an erected wall between two mountains where there is some human or what kind of species is, trying to come out. They cannot come around the, mountain. I don't know, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, I don't. Okay, do you want to?
So it's your point of view. It's my point. It's your point. I mean, if you think you, you have established and I have not, I'm okay with that. I'm not here to win an argument. I just wanted somebody to,
do you understand
to
the
explain,
concept?
and I wanted to see what you guys have to say.
Yes. So,
but I have more material.
I'm just going to help you understand something. Do you know that Raytheon has created F-37, I believe, and those are stealth planes. You cannot detect them by radar.
Yeah.
Okay, did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So if Raytheon is able to create an aircraft that is stealth, okay, that is,
Mm.
stealthy and cannot be detected by radar, I'm claiming and I'm believing in something, and you don't have to believe in that. All I'm saying is it's not illogical. I'm believing that my Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he wants to hide a mountain or a steel wall between a mountain, he can do that. Okay? And your science and my science, we all believe in science and we all root for science success. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want you to understand that science is not God. Science is limited. Okay? If God wants science to not be able to see COVID, they can't see it. They don't know how to treat it. They don't know how to test
God,
it.
come on. Your God is powerless. It's not
Okay.
he. He is.
Khalid, let me tell how old are you? Can
You
I
have
ask
to
you?
show the power he has,
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 50 plus.
50 plus. I hope God guides you, but let me tell you something for sure that
I'm not sure about it.
most likely 99%, I'm confident 99% within the next 50 years, you will know the answer and I will also know the answer. So I'll leave it at that. And I'll leave you to think about that. Thank you for taking the time. I hope that you got some new ideas because otherwise, what was the purpose of the call? I mean, if you're not able to
It
communicate.
doesn't matter. Listen, when I talk to somebody, I do not have the intention really that I am winning. It doesn't matter. A healthy argument is always good. I got your point of view, you got my point of view. Life goes
Fantastic.
on. If I,
Fantastic. Yeah, I learned it.
at the end of discussion, you think,
Hey,
what
hey,
I
you know what?
said, and afterwards I think what you said, this process goes on.
It's actually a win-win for me for sure, man. You know why? Because the hour and a half or so that we spent together, I know that my God will recompense me for it. So I don't think I'm gonna lose anyways. So it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, go on the roof, you will get some dollars there for
Yeah,
spending that.
we will see that. Okay, take care, man.
Oh, I'm sure you're planning to get 72 hoods for this time, huh?
I don't think
Is
I
that
don't think they're a that cheap deal. Okay, take care, man. Good talking to you. Bye.
okay?